Hello, good evening everybody. Um, let's see what's going on today. I'll just let the stream start going and have a little quick look at what is going on in the news today. So, first thing that you've probably heard about and some people have been talking about, and that's the Nord Stream pipeline that seemed to it seems now it's becoming more and more likely that it was some kind of act of deliberate sabotage, that it's um, been sort of explosives used or something like that, from all accounts that I can see. Um, Various different theories flying about it. I haven't looked into it too much, but I just saw this headline. Let's see if I can bring this up. So it says NATO warns it will respond to attacks on critical infrastructure after Nord Stream sabotage. Ooh. Slight problem with that NATO. It was probably a NATO country that did it, in my opinion. I don't think, personally, I mean, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't really see Russia sabotaging their own infrastructure like that when they can just turn the tap off. You know, it just makes that makes no sense. Unless if you've got a different opinion or you think that they might have done it as a false flag, let me know in the comments. But I personally don't think it's that. It was interesting that there was some old footage of Biden was dug up about him talking about how if a certain thing happens to Ukraine, then this will be stopped. And he was very adamant, even though the reporter asked him at the time, "How would you do that if it's a private enterprise in control of Germany and stuff?" And he was just like, "I promise you, we'll put a stop to it." I was like, "Okay." Seems like it was probably America, NATO, but I don't know. I'm not saying it was. I'm just saying I don't know. but you're threatening to respond. Might be one of your own countries that did it. You know. I think somebody was saying that it was at the same time that was being sabotaged as the other pipeline coming from. Is it from Romania or Poland way? Is opening up. I don't know, but it's always politics, isn't it? Politics and money. Follow the money, follow the politics. That's what it all is all about. Um, there will always be corruption, but just this whole thing, I can imagine there'll be a whole lot of basically nonsense and lies spread about what's going on, like the actual truth. We'll probably never know the actual truth. There's been some great memes. There was a one, there was a one with Greta Thunberg under the sea with the goggles on, like planting a bomb on on the pipeline. That was kind of a funny one. Uh, Whenever anything happens in the world, I love the memes. The memes are hilarious. They, you gotta laugh, haven't you? I mean, what else are you gonna? You either laugh or cry. Um, I think as well, me coming from a family of like forces background, forces humor, I tend to quite like memes that I can have sometimes quite a dark sense of humor. Um, yeah, I'd like to think inside I'm not like too much of a dark person. Like I tend to be quite optimistic, but like a bit of dark humor I don't mind. Um, so that was the first one. Other thing was Hurricane Ian. Now, I just saw this headline: UK weather, country to be hit by the tail end of Hurricane Ian, with torrential rain and 60-mile-an-hour winds forecast. Now, obviously, it doesn't sound anywhere near as bad as it is for, say, the west coast of Florida, obviously. But I see a headline like that and I think, oh, please no. Um, just from a purely selfish point of view, that my job gets busier if these things happen. So I'm not going to give my full details of my job, but yeah, it makes my life busier when these things happen. Um, but yeah, my mum actually lives in Central Florida. Thankfully, she's fine because I mean, obviously, Florida itself, even though it's just one state, is still quite wide. I think it's probably a similar kind of width to if you take England just on its own, it's the same kind of width. And so it was Tampa and that sort of the west coast area that got hit hard by the hard winds. Where my mum is sort of more centrally, the there's just been loads of rain and sort of like things are getting waterlogged and there's been flooding. But thankfully, my mum's property is kind of fine. It's raised up a little bit and it's all okay, so that's good. Just loads of rain. But yeah, so whenever I see this UK, we might get the tail end of it. Now, 60 miles an hour doesn't sound that much, but 55 miles an hour plus can start doing property damage. So yeah, it's not great. I mean, obviously not this kind of level of property damage. That's like 100 mile an hour plus. Um, yeah, yeah, so that's bad crack. But it is hurricane season. Sort of September onwards is usually when this hurricanes sort of develop and go. Sometimes they hit Florida. It's nothing new. Whenever you see headlines as well, sometimes you get a big one and they'll go, "Oh, it's the biggest one on record," or "It's record damages," and stuff like that. It's actually that's kind of lying with statistics. It's not actually usually like the largest that these areas have seen. It's just that, let's say a big storm similar or bigger 100 years ago would have been the amount of damage, like in terms of property damage, would be far less because there was far less property there. There was less people there. The properties weren't as many. They weren't as expensive. You sort of fill up an area like Florida, the population goes up, 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 up. It's a popular place to be. It's experiencing record growth at the moment, and house, um, building new houses. It's been solid for the last 20 years plus. And so, of course, if a hurricane goes through, even if it's the same as 30 years ago, same size, of course the dollar value it's massive. So every year it would be like a record one. So just be wary of the way things are presented on the mainstream media about that. Sometimes they make out that things are, and don't get me wrong, these are big hurricanes, and particularly if it's Category 4 or yeah, hopefully not Category 5. It's massive. It's going to do a lot of damage. Do you remember the one years ago that hit? Oh man, where was it that it hit? What was that place called? And it's never been the same since. They had loads of people in the stadium. Was it New Orleans? New Orleans. I think it was there that. What was that one called? Man, see, my memory's shocking. It wasn't that many years ago, was it? Was it about 10 years ago or something? That was a massive one. And it's like I say, the storms. They're the same sizes as they've been 50 years ago, 100 years ago, 200 years ago. It's not any different. It's just that there's more people, there's more property. So yeah, it's more. It looks like it's setting records, but they'll spin it to make it look like the weather's getting worse. It's not, in my opinion. Um, well, if you have a different opinion, put it in the comments. But yeah, no, the weather isn't getting worse. We're just building more stuff that's getting affected by the weather. That's basically it. What else did I spot? Oh yeah, I hate clickbaity stuff, right? Clickbaity articles and things. This one from Metro was, how much does it cost to run a tumble dryer? And I thought that'd be interesting just to see, because the electricity prices have gone a lot higher, and we've got a tumble dryer, so I thought, yeah, it'd be interesting. I just thought I might get a quick answer for like your average tumble dryer thing is X amount of pounds or pence. No, it's just clickbait nonsense. They basically just sort of go on about how the fact that because there's so much variety in how much your tumble dryer uses, depending on the tumble dryer, the size of it, how much you've got in it, they can't tell you. They're not going to tell you. They just say, "Oh, hang on, I'm actually getting a call." No, it was my daughter just trolling me. She started a call and she's hung up. Okay. Yeah. So that was all they talked about was the average price of a kilowatt hour or something. Yeah, per kilowatt hour. They're going to be an average of 34p, and they don't tell you the answer, and then they just advertise a load of other stuff. So, yeah, I don't like websites like that. And so, Metro, get lost. Off you go. Goodbye. What else did I spot? Oh yeah, I thought this would probably happen. It says UK economy latest news: sterling claws back losses and climbs above $1.10 per pound. So you know how obviously we got quite close to the US dollar. The pound dipped, and I kind of knew it would probably go back up a little bit, even if not to the point before. It's like it's not going to stay down there forever. Things settle, things bounce back. Isn't it the same? Was it even a dead cat bounces or something? I think that's to do with investments. But yeah, I'd imagine that to start normalizing itself. For a while, all the Americans were all like, "Hey, we can get more stuff." And there's a podcast I watch where it's one where people can subscribe, and one of the American subscribers was saying, because it was a British one, was saying this is great because my subscription's getting cheaper and cheaper because he's paying in dollars, so when it converts. But I'm sure that'll sort itself out, a little bit. It might still stay a little bit weaker against the dollar, who knows? But I didn't think it would sustain as low as it dropped, and yeah, it seems it's going back up to normalise itself a little bit. Can't remember what else I saw. Seems like the news is trying to say that Russia destroyed its own pipeline. Nah, I'm going to press X for doubt on that one. my my gut instinct would probably be more like America, but yeah, no. Anyway, let's not get too far into that one. Um, Sweden tightens nuclear security after attacks on Nord Stream gas. Okay, fair enough, Sweden. I don't think it's linked. I don't think they're going to come. Anybody's going to come after your power plants, but it's always good to have good security around them. Always. Um, I think we've dropped the ball as a country on nuclear power. Um, I think France is one that's got quite a lot, and I think that's going to do well for them. Um, I think do we in the UK do we only have two plants? I don't know. Let me if you know, let me know in the comments. I'd like to. I don't know much about this, but I just know that we've basically sort of hamstringing ourselves and shooting ourselves in the foot in terms of energy planning. We've just been making bad decision after bad decision. It's a bit like Ferrari. Whoever makes the decisions for Ferrari on the F1, they must be making all the decisions behind the scenes with the government, advising them on what to do for energy. It's like, let's see, we could do this the easy or the hard way. Well, we'll do it the hard way. Yeah, we'll do it the hard way. What else is going on? Technology, probably be a lot of stuff I don't understand. Amazon's biggest announcement from the device and services event. Speaking of Amazon, I mean, I'm usually kind of okay with them and singing their praises in terms of their service, but I got home, I've been out this evening, got home tonight. Where I live, it's just basically road, path, front door in a house. It's like a terrace, and they just left the box, something I'd ordered, just on my doorstep. In this city, I'm amazed it was still there. To be honest, I'm glad that nobody just walked past and went, "Oh, I'll have that." So yeah, I wasn't too impressed with that. But thankfully, I got the package. It's a bit of a miracle in itself, to be honest. Mm. I mean, don't get me wrong, it wasn't anything too expensive, but it's. I mean, somebody walking past doesn't know that, do they? So they might just go yoink and have it, and in the hopes that it'll be something valuable. I think they would have been disappointed. It wasn't anything particularly valuable, but yeah, you get opportunistic thieves, particularly in cities. So yeah, I would have rather they'd done what they're supposed to do, which is come back the next day with the package, not just leave it on the doorstep. Like I can understand when people have like a driveway or somewhere they can hide it, but like I say, my house is just literally road, path, front door, and they just left it on the front step there, right next to. Anyway, all's well that ends well. I got the package; it didn't go missing. Oh yeah, Coolio. That was sad to see. He passed away. He was only 59. Um, there's a few people in my life who I know who've passed away at the same age. I don't know much about his life, whether he came to drugs and stuff, but uh, yeah, that certainly doesn't. That kind of lifestyle doesn't tend to do very well for living long. Yeah, I mean, obviously he'll be forever remembered for Gangster's Paradise, tune of the 90s. Am I getting a call again? Hang on. Sorry, stream. I'm just gonna take this. It's my daughter. She's in the next room, but she's calling me. Hey Jen, I'm streaming. You alright? Hello? And she's hung up. Yeah, okay. um, I don't know if she's trolling me or if she actually wants something. Is she calling me again? Jen, stop it. Sorry to do this on midstream. I think she's sending me messages. Let me just see what she's trying to say, in case it's important. No, it's just my phone telling me I've missed a voice call. Yeah, it's helpful like that. I know that. And now she's just messaged me, bruh. Jen, you could come on stream and message me here. Anyway, what else is going on? Stacey Solomon talking about the royal family. No, don't. Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. Somebody's labelling his demands nonsensical. Well, AJ, just stop messing about and get it sorted. Do you want to fight him or not? I think he's scared, to be honest, as he should be, as anybody should be, to get in the ring with Fury. I would like to see the fight happen. Do I think it will? I don't know. I'm doubtful. I'll say 50-50 on that one. I think I can see somebody watching now. If you want to pop a question or a comment in the chat, I'll respond. I always like to interact with the chat if you want to pop something on there. Um, while that's going on, I will try and see what else is going on. Sport. Lewis Hamilton feels for fans amid Max Verstappen's dominance ahead of first title chance at Singapore. Why does he feel for the fans? Do you know what? I bet he wouldn't be saying that if he was the one winning, would he? Let's see. What's wrong with that? But people like Max Verstappen, Lewis. Um, why would they? Why do you feel for them? They might want to see him win it early. For you, as the one individual, it's great, but for the actual sport, it's not spectacular. Well, speak for yourself, Lewis. I've been enjoying this season. I think it's been great to watch, and I've been quite enjoying watching other people win and you struggling, to be honest, because I think he's just got too much to say sometimes. Um, Max seems like a good lad. I quite like him, and his racing's good. I would have liked to have seen Ferrari be a little bit stronger so that the Charles Leclerc Verstappen battles could have been going on a bit more. They were good to watch, but yeah, they had a few issues. Sometimes it's just been decisions. Sometimes it's just been the car hasn't been quick enough. I've had some. Did they have a technical issue? Didn't they? One of their cars. Yeah, I'm sure there was one where both cars ended up retiring. Um, yeah. Anyway, sorry, probably boring you with F1 talk. I don't know, unless any of my audience like F1 talk. That reminds me, I have to set it to record because it's back on this weekend. Seeing that headline has just reminded me. What else? No, yeah, I think that's about it for new stuff that I want to talk about. Was there anything else I was going to mention? Let me just close that up. I think that was it, really. I'm trying to think if I haven't been. I've just been working, looking after kids, working. Nothing special, much has been going on that I can think of. Although my eldest is getting back into playing football again, which is good because the local football team actually have like a girls' development squad thing where they train once a week. So she's gone to the last two sessions. So I'm glad that she's got back into that. She used to do it for a while. Then she got to high school or secondary school, and kind of like was like, nah, that can't be bothered anymore. So had a couple of years off of it, but now thankfully it's actually like I want to get back into it. So that was great. But of course they keep growing, don't they? So now I had to buy new football boots, so there's more money, cha-ching, cha-ching, because they're not cheap. But obviously the feet keep getting bigger. But no, I'm happy to do that because I'm happy to see her playing football. It's good, not just good fun, sort of fun for her, but it's good exercise. It's good exercise for her. I mean, they used to be 2 hour sessions. I think they're 1.5 hours now, but it was like mad. They just used to just be running for almost 2 hours. I mean, they'd stop and have a bit of water every now and then and do their various exercises and stuff, but it was like, yeah, I'd be half dead after an hour because I'm so old and unfit now. But man, yeah, they just keep going. So now it's an hour and a half. It's a bit more manageable. So I mean, she's still tired at the end of it, but it's not quite as bad physically on her. Let's see, any other news? No, just a quick one this evening. Unless anybody's got anything to ask, you can ask me anything. But yeah, hoping that everybody in Florida gets sorted out pretty quickly after the hurricane is dissipating. Clean up operations, electrical dudes that go and fix the lines. They had thousands of those guys ready to go, so that they can try and get the power back on and stuff like that. Floridians are used to it. Yeah, I think my mum was over there for just a long time ago now. I think Hurricane Charlie was one of the big ones that went straight over the central bit and hit where she was. I think they had 3 that year went straight over where she lived, and Charlie was the most fierce. But she's thankfully, always been kind of okay where her property is no sort of trees or anything nearby that could fall into it or anything like that. But yeah, I think they're a hardy bunch, and in Florida they'll just get cracking with fixing things back up afterwards. And hopefully they all just bounce off down the east coast of off the east coast of America, or they just dissipate. And, you know, they're a bit random, and nobody can really predict where they're going to go. Aha! Here is one daughter. Hello.
Since you're too incompetent to look at your own messages, here you go.
I was looking at the messages. Your message to me was just bruh.
If you actually looked at the messages, you would have seen what I wanted.
No, well, I tried to speak to you, and you just kept hanging up on me. What did you want? Was it?
Bye.
All right, I'll see you in a bit. All right. Well, Oh, now my phone tells me she wanted me to come and get her phone and charge her phone and earphones. Okay, well, no issue. We could do that overnight. Anyway, yeah, I better go. So yeah, hope you all have a good week, and I'll catch you on another stream. All right, bye.